Alright, now I know you guys have, or at least a lot of you, have waited a good long while for this video, so you have my apologies on the wait, but nevertheless, this is, basically we're going to show off the adiPower Predator TRX firm ground against the adiPower Predator SL TRX firm ground, and frankly, between the two of them, not a lot to choose from, but there are some details about either one that we ended up preferring one over the other. As you guys already know, removable sock liner, Galeo leather forefoot, Predator applique on the instep, bladed studs, power spine. All your basics are right there as far as the adiPower Predator goes. And then the SL is synthetic upper, thin as paper, muted instep applique, power spine, 2 removable sock liners, 2 sets of laces, cleaning rag, carrying bag, all that good stuff. We're not here to talk about add-ons. Frankly, add-ons are kind of they're gravy. You know what I mean? They're the cherry on top. So really, the biggest concern we've heard about from people for one versus the other is that Predator applique. The Predator element on the instep of the regular Predators here is, as you can see, it's got 2 different heights. So 2 different channels there. One is essentially to put spin on the ball, and the other one is meant to derive power from that rubber, just kind of have a little bit more, little heavier rebound characteristic off of there. And it's pretty pronounced, you know, you really can't miss it. It's a combination rubber silicone, and does a great job. Really, it's quite tacky, has a nice feel to it. And then on the adiPower SL, this is where people's concerns start to enter into this shoe, is basically there's no rubber on here, it's all silicone. And as a result, some people are concerned that there's really no touch to it, but to be honest, it is a very tacky surface right here. There is not 2 channels like on the other one, because that rubber is not there, so there's really nothing to add rebound to it. And truthfully, it does look a lot like the Absolato, but I assure you the Absolato is quite different. And I'll see if I can depict in the video here kind of the difference between that. Here we have our Absolato. So now the Absolato, the big deal about the Absolato is same drill. Very muted, no 2 channels, that whole deal. Now the material on the Absolato, on the Predator instep right here, is entirely PU. It's polyurethane. So there's no tackiness to it, there's really nothing, it's just, there it is, you have it. This one is entirely silicone, so it has a little bit more tack to it, and actually you're going to find that a ball takes weird spins off this material. Not bad spins or anything like that. Certainly nothing to concern oneself with, but actually what it does is it really does add a pretty intense knuckle to that ball sometimes. You're going to find on spot kicks and stuff like that, this Predator element actually does some pretty wild stuff. We've seen some balls dip and dive on these things. So to be honest, I will still give the advantage to the adiPower as far as the Predator element goes. The SL is just kind of a, I don't know, it's kind of a freaky instep. It really doesn't have any sort of consistent performance pattern or anything like that. It's really up in the air. Fit definitely goes to the adiPower Predator SL, and the fit being simply because there's more space pooled in that forefoot. You're going to find, obviously, with natural material, it's going to be narrower in general. No shock there, but if you see them kind of next to each other, let's do that real quick. These are both size 7s, by the way. 7, 7. But yeah, so if you kind of put them side by side next to each other, you see that one, the synthetic one, is definitely wider in the upper than the leather one. Simple reason being for that one, pretty obvious. It's just because the synthetic material doesn't stretch nearly as much as that Galeo. At the same time, there's only Galeo on the forefoot of this shoe. The Galeo leather ends at this seam here, which you may or may not be able to see, ends there, and ends there. So basically there's your natural material just at the toes. The rest of the shoe is entirely synthetic, so really no shock there. It's not new or different. Predators have been doing that for the last 2 incarnations, but nevertheless, the adiPower SL through and through is a synthetic, and it has a great touch to it. It really does. Like this, the touch on these things actually, it's very comparable to like a Vapor's touch. So, you know, you can really feel the ball. It's a very thin upper. There's really not much to it. But that actually kind of brings us to our biggest tipping point between these two, which is that the adiPower Predator firm ground has had a lot of durability questions. This seam right here has been a real pain in the butt. this bonding point right here on the outside has been a real pain in the butt. It's ripping on so many people, and we've had real concerns about that. But the adiPower SLs have had no issues with that whatsoever. As you can see, just because of that, you see that bumper extends all the way around on the instep on here. This little clear bumper right here that kind of molds the upper to the outsole extends all the way around on the inside, on the instep, and on the outside of the shoe goes all the way to that first primary load-bearing seam. But if you take a look on the adiPowers, you'll see no bumper on the outside, goes only to the toe. And then the bumper right over here, where you have your major concerns, doesn't extend all the way around the shoe either. You're going to find that subsequent releases of the adiPower are going to have more bonding agent between the upper and the outsole, but for the time being, edge goes to the SL, definitely. But yeah, that about wraps it up, guys. If you have any questions, you know where to leave them, and check us out on goldstore.com. Thanks very much.